Welcome. Just in case you're already sick of winter or this isn't your favorite time of year, Lady Night Terror brings you a scary fall story involving Bigfoot. It's called Watch Out for Bigfoots in the North Woods. As always, please subscribe and drop a like if you do like the story, as I can't tell you how much these actions help the channel. Now let's get into it. I was walking alone in the woods, just outside of my family's cabin in the North Woods of Minnesota, when I found an old leather-bound diary. It was hidden in a hole in an ancient tree. I saw the edge peeking out, so curious I picked it up, feeling the leather cracked and old under my fingers. I opened it and turned the pages inside, careful not to tear the fragile paper browned at the edges from age. My eyes naturally read some of the words inside. The story gripped me, and as I kept reading, I became more and more curious. Here's what it said. June 18th, 1956. Dear Diary, today is a beautiful day and my parents allowed me to wander around by myself as long as I'm home before dark. I packed 2 big bottles of water, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, sunflower seeds, and an apple in my father's old army backpack. Side thought, I wonder if I drop the apple, would a tree grow in that spot? I stopped reading for a second and smiled at the apple trees growing all around this area, wondering if this child from long ago had planted them. Then I continued reading. Anyway, my parents told me to be alert for predators, but so far I haven't seen any. I don't know what's supposed to be out here, but it can't be anything too serious or my parents wouldn't let me wander around by myself. The only thing I've seen so far is some animals' poop, squirrels, and some scratching on a tree. The scratches appeared like those of a big cat, like it had sharpened its nails on hard bark. This area doesn't have big cats, so I wonder what that could have been. June 23rd, 1956. Dear Diary, I've been burying my apples in the hopes that they do grow into big trees. Then I could have apples all through autumn, every autumn. We wouldn't have to go to an orchard because we'd have our own. Right now, there aren't any apple trees around here or really any food growing. I saw more trees with that strange scratching on it. There were 3 trees in a row with deep grooves torn into them. Like, I felt bad for the trees. I don't know if that hurts them or not, or if plants feel pain. Past the damaged trees, the broken hulls of nuts lay scattered all over the ground, just like when I stand in one spot eating sunflower seeds and spitting out the shells. Do other people have cabins out here? I'll have to ask my parents when I get back to ours. June 24th, 1956. Dear Diary, my parents said that we're the only cabin around here for a few miles, and that it must have been trespassers who left the nut, so I should pay extra special attention and come home right away if I see someone. I haven't seen any people, but rather something much more exciting. As I write this, I am sitting at the top of a hill, and below, I see what look like a group of missing links. They aren't gorillas, but they're hairy, monkey-like creatures standing on 2 legs. There are at least 10 of them at the base of the hill, just like going around doing normal stuff. Some are clearly young children running around, like a small basketball court-sized area, while one adult looks like she's cracking nuts, using her large, strong hands and a rock against the earth. Each time she cracks a nut, she hands it off to one of the smaller animals, and I could swear she's smiling. I don't know that she's a woman, but she seemed maternal somehow. A few feet away from the female, what I can only assume is a male sharpening a stick with a piece of rock while chewing on a blade of grass. I just heard the sound of twigs breaking in the distance behind me, and for only a second I glanced over my shoulder, but when I looked back, there were no sign of the animals. Was I dreaming? Where did they go? I even squinted into the dark areas at the base of the trees and bushes, but I didn't see any of them. I stood up and, with my heart pounding, I walked down the hill. I swear I could smell them, like a musty odor, not unpleasant, kind of like the fur of a dog. When I arrived at the base of the hill, I walked over to the tree where I saw the woman cracking nuts, and the shells were still there. I picked one up and turned it over in my fingers as I turned the thoughts over in my mind. I didn't imagine them. Not knowing what to do, I went through my ritual of burying the remains of my afternoon apple in the dirt. Then I went home. I'm not gonna tell my parents about this because I'm pretty sure they're not gonna believe me. June 25th, 1956. Dear Diary, I found the tribe of animals again. I went back to the top of that same hill and saw them again at the base. This time, I took out my apple and rolled it down the hill. One of the apples picked it up, peered up the hill. I was ducking down in the grass, and then he scratched himself and took a bite. When he finished eating the apple until only the core remained, he looked back up the hill, I think he probably knew I was there, and buried it just like I had yesterday. Could they see me when I buried it? Because I looked and I couldn't see them. Or maybe that's just a coincidence that they too buried it. Either way, I rushed back home to get more apples, but then when I came back to the hill, they were gone. I decided to leave the apples for them at the bottom of the hill in their usual spot, and I hope they understand it as a gift. June 26, 1956. Dear Diary, today I returned back to the hill, and the apples were gone, and there were nuts left in their place. I'm pretty sure we're developing a friendship. June 27th, 1956. Dear Diary, today I sat at the top of the hill and watched the animals interact with each other. The children ran around. The adults appeared to be cleaning each other, cracking nuts, eating apples. And then all of a sudden, a man entered the clearing from the opposite side of the hill that I was perched on. Even from the top of the hill, I could tell he was walking carefully so as not to be seen, hiding kind of in the trees. He held a camera in his hand, and he aimed the lens at the group at the base of the hill. And with his approach, the animals sniffed the air, and they spotted him. 3 of the big animals rushed him and tore into him. They ripped his face and left deep gouges, just like I saw on the tree. In less than a minute, there was only smeared pulp, like a squished fruit, remained of what had once been a human being. I just stared at them doing that. I had no idea human life could end that quickly and with so little left that looked human-like. I thought they were so friendly. Surely there was a misunderstanding. I'm certain that man must have threatened them in some way to make them act like that. I've only seen them be kind to each other. Tomorrow, I'm going to go visit them with the apples, and I'm going to show them that humans are safe and we can be friends. I gazed up from the book, then quickly skimmed through the rest of the diary, but there were only empty pages. The breeze picked up and I scanned the surrounding area, suddenly cold. I never noticed just how many apple trees were in this area. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave the like and subscribe, and that's all. Enjoy. I'll see you in the next one.